Hey guys, hopefully yesterday with Mrs. Pfeiffer went well for you. We are going to do 2.5b today, which is really just doing the same thing, making sure you have the buttons all down on your calculator and getting it figured out. So I'm going to walk you through this. You have the ability to pause and put stuff in your calculator and rewind and don't just feel like you have to go straight through with me. If you need a second to write some things down, just pause me and go again, or rewind if you need to hear it again. I will try and make it as clear as possible. And I'm sorry if my way doesn't perfectly line up with Mrs. Pfeiffer's way. There's several ways you can go about getting there. If you have a different way from Mrs. Pfeiffer yesterday and you like that, go for it. I don't know how they're going to match up or be different. So do your best. Hopefully this all makes sense. Okay, so we're going to start with this data table. Think to yourself, how do I input those numbers, first of all? You need to hit stat. Let's just write this here. Stat is that, it's all caps, second row down, third button over. So you're going to hit stat, and then if you just hit enter, it should already be set at edit. So really you can just hit enter right there. And then you should have either blank lists there, or maybe you have numbers in from yesterday. So go up to L1, like highlight L1, so arrow up. Hit clear and then enter. Don't hit delete. If you hit delete, it's going to delete the list. We don't want to delete the list. We want to clear the list. Then move over to L2, hit clear and enter there. If they won't delete for you, you can always just delete them individually, but it's a whole lot easier if you just, clear them individually. It's a whole lot easier if you just do one at a time. Okay, so under L1, right? This is your L1. You are going to put in all those numbers. So give me a second. 1896, 1906, 1936, 1968, 1984. I was 2 years old. 1996, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012. Okay, so your L1 should be all filled in with those. Now this side here is your L2, and we're going to plug those in. So 12, 11.2, 10.3, and you just hit enter, and that drops you down to the next level if you haven't figured that out yet. 9.95, 9.99, 9.84, 9.87, 9.85, 9.69, 9.63. Notice your two lines should be level at the bottom there. You shouldn't have one more number in your L1 or one more number in your L2. So assuming you're good with that, that's where you should be right now. That was just stat edit to get there. Okay, so it says graph the data on your calculator. Before we graph it, we are going to click Y. Let's just do this. Click your Y equals up at the top. Make sure plot 1 is highlighted, so go up to it and press enter if it is not. And then clear out anything that's in your Y1. Sorry, Y1. So the button was, again, up those, mine are gray. I don't know what color yours are, but up at the very top, highest button on the far left that you can. Hit Y1, clear out your Y1 just to make sure you're good. Okay, then once you've done that, now I want you to click zoom, not window. So now you're going to click zoom, and then 9 is the one you want. So zoom. You can arrow to 9. You can arrow down if you want, but 9 is the same as, it's called zoom stat. It's going to help you get a good window. So if you just hit zoom and then 9, that should get you your points. Now, when you press zoom 9, if you didn't get your points, go back to y equals and check that your plot is on. Because if your plot is not on, then it won't do it. So you go y equals, go up to where it says plot 1, hit enter. You want that highlighted, okay? Then zoom 9. Oops, I just unhighlighted mine. Should get you your plots. Okay, so we're going to sketch our graph here. When you sketch a graph, I want it to be, you're not going to do it on grid paper or anything, but as clear as you can where your points fall. So for instance, mine looks like this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My dots don't always draw. Here's what we should do. Oh, guys, this is killer. Okay, we're going to zoom a little bit here so that they're a little easier to see. Okay. So we have 1 that comes up a little bit, and then it kind of goes 3 pretty close together, drops down a little bit, 2 more. Okay, so you plot all your points. I'm looking for, do you have every point? So every point that you see on there should be on your graph. Okay, make sure that all of those points end up on your graph. Question A up here asks, it says graph it on your calculator. Do they represent a positive, negative, or no correlation? This would be a negative correlation, right? It's on its way down. It has a negative slope to the line. Okay, so that's what you have there. And then make sure that you label your graph. So the years were going this way, the times were your y. Your times ranged from your lowest time, 9.63, right? That was here. And then your highest time was 12.0, so that's going to be up there. And then your lowest x is 1896, and your highest x is 2012. Okay, so make sure you're labeling all that on your graph so we can see what you have. Then we're going to find the line of best fit, okay? Now what you're going to do here, you're going to click Stat. Let me just make a list for you. And if you have a different calculator, this might be a little different. We can mess with it more if we need to. But you click Stat, you arrow over to Calc, okay? And then my number 4 is my line of regression. So I'm just going to click number 4, okay? And then I'm going to show you a picture real quick of what I'm seeing. Okay, so here's the picture. When you get to this point, you can kind of do the next couple steps together. I'm not sure if this is how Mrs. Pfeiffer does it or not, but you're going to go down to Store Regression Equation. So go down there. So you're going to go down to Store, and then you're going to hit Alpha. That's the green button. And then you're going to hit its trace. But really, because you clicked alpha, it's F4. Okay, that's one of the ones at the very top. Y equals Windows, Zoom, Trace. So you're clicking that trace, and then this Y1 screen pops up here. You want Y1, which should be highlighted, so you should be able to just press Enter. Okay, and what that did was it just stored your line of regression in your Y equals that we cleared out earlier, so you don't have to enter it, okay? Then you can arrow down one more and click Calculate. Some of you with the newer calculators, I think that looks a little bit different for you, but I don't have the new calculator to be able to show you that right now. Okay, So first of all, when you hit enter, you see this screen. Okay, so you see this screen here. Ooh, let's not jiggle it around. This screen. That's giving you your equation. So this is your slope. This is your y-intercept. And then this number is your correlation coefficient. That's your D right here. So negative 0.93018. That's a good number. Technically, it's not a percent, but if you think of it as a percent, you're getting a 93% with that line. That's an A. That's good, okay? So that's a good one there. We want our line of best fit now. We just stored it in our y equals, or we can use this screen to write it down. So I would just write it from the screen we just pulled up. It's y equals, and then 5 decimal places. So A, I wish they would have called it M, but they call it A, is negative 0.01648, okay, 5 decimal places, times x, and then plus your b, and your b is this number. So plus, it's a positive, 42.7164, and then that 3 is going to round up to a 4 because of the 7 behind it. All right, that's going to bump it up. Okay, so that is your line of best fit, which if you just set it up the way that I did, where we stored, right, the regression equation, you should not have to now enter that into y equals. If you couldn't find that, you could go to y equals right now and plug this into your y equals part, okay? But we're going to do the line of best fit now. So we're going to draw that in, we're going to graph it. So what you should only have to press graph right now, and it should put your line in for you. So that's what I just did. I hit graph. What I want you to do your best on with this is to get things to line up where they need to line up. Now, sometimes that might make it might be easier if you just draw the line and then plot the points around it, if you don't want to plot the points right off the bat. For instance, I hit on the line I'm seeing, I'm hitting right here, a smidge. And then I kind of go through the top of this one. And then it looks like I go right through this one. I missed it, that one, and kind of underneath the rest of them. So if you can make that a straight line, mine's a little kooky, great. Otherwise, draw the line first and then plot the points around it. That's fine too. But I want to see all your points. I want to see that your line has, like, this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points above the line. 3, 4 points below the line. I kind of lost one of my points there, and then one that was like right on the line. I need to see all those points as accurately as you can give me them. Okay. How are we doing so far? Pretty good. Hopefully. Take a deep breath if you're not quite sure. Here's the other thing, guys. Your classmates are great resources. I guarantee there's someone in the room right now that knows what they're doing with this and can help you out. So don't be bashful. And those of you that really know what you're doing, maybe you go and just ask if there's anyone who needs a hand. Mrs. Price is also right across the hall. You are welcome to ask her for help too. Okay? Okay. Last thing, it says using your equation, estimate the time for the 100-meter dash for the next Olympics, so for 2020. Now, if you think back to our numbers here, this column, that was our X category, right? So this 2020 is just going to get plugged in right here, and we'll solve for Y. So it's Y equals negative 0.01648 times 2020, plus 42.71644. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to just plug this whole thing into your calculator, and you will get a long number, but we're just going to round it to the nearest hundredth here. So when you plug that in, you get 9.43, and it's estimate the time for the 100-meter dash for the next Olympics. This was in seconds. So 9.43 seconds would be the estimated time. Now, at some point, they're not going to be able to keep getting lower and lower and lower like that, right? We don't know when that will be, but you can't go down to 0 seconds for a 100-meter dash. So, yeah, just kind of have to think, is this reasonable? Is this making sense if we keep going that way? That is your 2.5B. Hopefully that makes sense to you. I will be back on Monday and happy to clear up any questions we have, but Monday is also a day of a big lesson. So lots to do. Have a good weekend.